to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. Today's pre-trip report episode is a short one since it's only me, but don't worry, I have Alex joining me for the post-trip report, so you have that to look forward to. If you are not subscribed to the show on the podcast app of your choice, this is your reminder to do so. It helps with how visible the show will be to others and will ensure that you always have the latest episode in your queue as they come out. And with that, here's me. All right, let's talk through the details of my upcoming trip to Anaheim. This trip is actually a work trip for an annual conference that I attend. So I've been looking forward to it for the past year. I really do enjoy going to conferences for work because it is always nice to meet people and talk shop and get the latest updates in the field. And to have it be in the same place as a Disney park is even better. I have been to Disneyland twice before. The first time was in November 2007 when Charles and I stopped in California for 2 nights on our way to Hawaii for our honeymoon. We stayed at a Good Neighbor hotel for that trip and did 1 day at Disneyland and 1 day at Universal. We did not get a chance to see California Adventures because of the time that we had there, but I had such a good time. And this was even prior to my swearing my Disney adult oath. So I didn't think much about it really after it was over, especially because I was enjoying our time in Hawaii. The next time I made it over to Disneyland was in June 2018 when my in laws took our whole family in celebration of their 50th wedding anniversary. That was such an amazing trip because by 2018, I was deep in the depths of my Disney adulthood. So I was all in. For that trip, we stayed at the hotel that is now called Pixar Pier, but at the time was called Paradise Pier. For this upcoming trip, I will be in town June 23rd through 28th, staying at the Anaheim Marriott. It is right next to the convention center, so it is very convenient. I think it's only about 15 to 20-minute walk from the hotel to the front of either of the parks. Some of my colleagues are staying at the Anaheim Hilton, which is also right next to the convention center. So it's going to be very easy for us to go right next door into the convention center for our meetings every day and to meet up as a group as we need to for dinner and things like that. This is going to be an action-packed week. I sincerely hope I can keep up my energy for everything that is on the agenda. Starting with Monday, June 23rd, I am flying out first thing in the morning on a 7 a.m. flight from JFK to LAX. One of my colleagues is going to be on the same flight as me, so that is going to be nice to have someone to catch a Lyft or an Uber with once we land and that sort of thing. I can get up to 2 people into the Chase Sapphire Lounge with me at JFK. So, depending on what time my colleague arrives at the airport, we might grab something to eat there before we hop on a plane. By the time we land at LAX, I will have already put in a full day between getting to and from the airport and having such a long flight. So I'm hoping that I can get a lot of napping done on the plane so that I have lots of energy for the remainder of the day, as I do want to try to get on their time zone as quickly as possible. Usually it is fairly easy for me to sleep on a flight. So I'm crossing my fingers that that is still true. After we arrive, I will get my things into the Marriott as quickly as I can and then walk over to the parks. I have purchased a 3 day park hopper ticket, even though I'm not going to have full days available for park time since I'm at a conference. But to me, it's worth it to have the flexibility of a hopper, and it's worth the price of admission, even if it's not a full day, since I so rarely get to Anaheim. I plan to use my 3 day park hopper ticket on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of that week. Since I am an annual pass holder in Walt Disney World, my focus for the part time I do have will be to enjoy the 70th anniversary and to try to do things that I can't do in Florida as much as I can. Though I rode Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout the last time I was there, I have not had the chance to see Avengers Campus yet. So that is very exciting for me. The first park I plan to hit up on Monday will be Disney California Adventure, aka DCA, specifically for the reason that we don't have it in Florida. DCA closes earlier than Disneyland, so it's possible I could hop over to Disneyland after DCA closes if I want. I am planning to mostly eat quick service for this trip, but I do have a dinner reservation for Carnation Cafe for Monday evening in case I want to use it. I might end up canceling it and just grabbing quick service. We'll see. I just thought it might be nice to have a reservation of a for sure place to have a dinner on that first night. As, like I said, I'm going to be trying to get acclimated to the time zone as quickly as possible, which means I will be trying to stay up as late as I can to get myself into that time zone quickly, and not go to bed super, super early. That being said, I do need to go to bed at a somewhat reasonable time, both because I'm going to be tired from the travel and because I am participating in a charity 5K at the crack of dawn on Tuesday morning that is organized through the conference that I'm going to. I think the 5K starts right outside the convention center, so that is a good thing. It's not going to be too far that I have to go in the morning. I know when I did this same charity 5K last year, it was not right outside my hotel and was, I want to say, almost a mile walk to get over to where the starting line was. So I think we ended up taking an Uber, but this should be right outside the convention center, aka right outside my hotel. Go ahead, right outside, get started on that 5K. I'm not sure where it ends, but we will see. I'm up for whatever. After the 5K is over, I will probably do a little bit of work to keep my inbox under control, and I need to be conference ready at 3:30 in the afternoon because that is when the welcome session is going to start. We're done with our conference activities that first day around 6:30 in the evening. So, I went ahead and I made a reservation for a 7 p.m. dinner at Jazz Kitchen, which is in downtown Disney, for myself and for 5 of my colleagues. I thought it would be really nice to have something on the books because of the conference. There's probably going to be a lot of reservations that are already taken. So, luckily, because I'm the Disney adult that I am, I was thinking about this thing 60 days ago and was able to grab that reservation. There are 5 other people besides me going from my work that I work closely with. I'll know some other people there from work as well, but the reservation that I made is for these 5 people that I feel certain I'm going to be hanging out with for a majority of the time since I work the most closely with them. I've never eaten at the Jazz Kitchen before, but I do love New Orleans style food. So I'm very excited about that. The Jazz Kitchen is a sit down restaurant, but I think I remember correctly that they have a walk up window where you can get beignets. So we will see. I will have a beignet at some point over the course of this trip. Will it be in the same evening that I'm having dinner there? I don't know, that sounds like a lot of food, but I'm really excited about that dinner and to have that locked in for myself and my colleagues. The conference sessions the following day on Wednesday morning start at 8:30 a.m. So we're not going to be out super late with that dinner by any means. We'll have our 7 p.m. dinner, and I am imagining that at the very most I might find my way into the world of Disney before I head back to the hotel to get to bed because I am assuming that by this point in the schedule the busyness and the amount of sleep I will have gotten will make me ready to hit the sack. On Wednesday, my conference sessions go from 8:30 a.m. until 5:45, so it is a very full day. That night, I am planning to head back into DCA to use part of my 3-day ticket. But for this night, 2 of my colleagues have also bought a 1-day park hopper to join me so that they can experience DCA themselves. That is open until 10 p.m. And then because we will all have the hopper ticket, we can go over into Disneyland from whenever we arrive there up until midnight. So, since I'm the crazy Disney lady, I'm going to be using all my Disney knowledge to try to get my colleagues on as many rides as possible, particularly in DCA, since it's the only chance that they will get to see it. So I think that the people who will be on this trip from my work have been to the parks for the most part, but they're just not regular goers. I think one person in our group has never been before. So that's always exciting. You know, I love watching a first timer experience the magic for the very first time. On Thursday, we have sessions again starting at 8:30 a.m. But on this day, it only goes until 4 p.m. because the Thursday night conference activity is that all the conference attendees had the chance to get $25 tickets to Disneyland that we can use on that Thursday night. We can get in as early as 4:30 p.m. and the park is open until midnight. So because this is the conference activity, that means that all of my colleagues will be going on this night, not just the two that ended up getting some extra tickets for Wednesday night to pop over with me. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I am not sure yet if we're all going to stay together the whole time or if we'll break up into smaller groups. We will see. I'm also hoping that maybe we can convince people to do multipass so that I can orchestrate our evening and get us on as many rides as possible. To round out our evening, I have made a 10 p.m. reservation, or I think it's sometime around 10 p.m. for Oga's, which is in Disneyland, because that's where Galaxy's Edge is in Disneyland. It's in Disneyland Park proper. And I made a late night reservation there with the intention that we could have a little late night drink. And then when we're done, I'm hoping that Rise of the Resistance will not have much of a wait and I can take my entire work crew with me on Rise of the Resistance to experience that for the first time, because I know at least one person in my group is a big Star Wars fan and he's just going to be so excited to have that experience. But I don't want us to have to wait very long for it, especially for me, because my understanding is that Galaxy's Edge is exactly the same as it is in Florida. On Friday morning, we have more sessions during the day for the final day of the conference, and I will be flying back the following morning because of how late the flights on Friday get back into New York. So I'm going to head back into the parks just for a few more hours after the conference is over and then get a good night's sleep. At this point, I am absolutely certain that the long days are going to have caught up with me. And so I probably will just be collapsing. And then on Saturday morning, I will get up and get ready for my flight and get myself over to LAX. You know, with LAX, you can never really count on how long it's going to take you to get there in an Uber and in a Lyft and that sort of thing, just because the traffic is very unpredictable. I know that I think with no traffic, it's about a 45-minute drive from LAX over to the Parks and Convention Center area where we need to be in Anaheim. And given that I need to check bag and things like that, I need to allow for a lot of time to get over to the airport. So that is really the day to day of my plans. In terms of the things that I'm really looking forward to in the little park time that I'm going to have, definitely Avengers Campus, like I said, and checking out the 70th anniversary celebration things. I know that they have 70th anniversary merchandise. They also have some special things that have sort of come back, like the Paint the Night parade. Very excited about that because I have seen Paint the Night before, but it was when it was in DCA years ago on my 2018 trip. I remember seeing it there. And I love a nighttime parade. And it will be kind of fun to see it happen over in the Disneyland park. So that's a little bit of a fresh perspective for me. I think that's everything. We're I was going to say less than a week away, but yeah, I am recording this on Thursday and I leave on Monday. So less than half a week away at this point. The weather is looking good. I don't see any rain, knock on wood, predicted for the trip. It looks like the highs are in the lower 80s for the entire time. Based on what I see for the forecast in New York City, it seems like I'm going to be missing some very hot days here. And I cannot say that I'm upset about it. When I looked a few days ago, it even said that there were going to be some days here in New York that were 100 degrees or higher. And I think that since I last looked, it has come down slightly. I'm pulling up my phone now. Yeah, it looks like the highest temperature I'm going to miss while I'm away right now is predicted to be 98. But still, that's really hot. And if you've ever been on a hot day here in the city, it is kind of miserable because especially if you have to go into work for any reason on that on a hot day like that, getting out, walking through the mugginess, getting on the subway, and then it's absolutely freezing cold on the subway because of the air conditioning. Or maybe worse, you get on a subway car and the air conditioning is not working and then it's just as muggy inside. So not fun. So I will be glad to have some milder temperatures. I'm flipping on my phone right now just to see what the current state of the weather is in Anaheim because it's been a few days since I've looked, and it looks like the high temperatures are ranging anywhere from 77 up to 83 on the days that I will be there. So that's perfect. I'm really thrilled with that weather, and I don't it's sunny every day. And that's kind of what my experience in California has been in the past, is that the temperatures there don't usually get astronomically hot, and everything is just kind of generally sunny and mild. So very much looking forward to having that kind of weather while I'm there. I am looking forward to sharing all the details of how this trip actually pans out. Am I too old to do the go, go, go thing for this many days in a row? Time will tell. But it's going to be a good week. I always have fun at this conference. It's a good conference that I really enjoy for work. And then to be able to get some part time on top of that, it's just going to be nonstop from start to finish. So that is all the plans, and I will talk to you once it is all done. I told you it was a short one. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. The post trip report is up next, and my son Alex actually hosted the interview, which was a lot of fun. So have a magical rest of your day. And as always, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.